Hey guys, Painreaper here. Today I'm going to be going over one of my favorite add-ons, which is called Ice Hud. A lot of people have been asking me what this is, so I decided to make a video and go over some of the ways that I have mine set up. So once you've downloaded it, it'll either have an icon up here next to your minimap, or you can go to your add-ons and click on Open Ice Hud. Here's basically the UI for changing all your module settings. Before I get started, one thing that I just want to kind of make clear is that by default, the bars are kind of set up a little wacky. What you'll probably notice is that by default, you're going to have your target's health over on the left side and your mana or runic power over on the right hand side. It'll probably end up looking something like this. Player health, go down here to target health, left side. So your target's health is going to be over here, your mana is going to be over here. So basically both mana is going to be on the right, both yours and your target's health is going to be on the left. I thought it was a little strange, so I set mine up so that my target's health is on the right and my target's mana is on the right, and my health is on the left and my mana is on the left, runic power in this case. And you can simply do that by going on your left under module settings, scroll down till you get to target health, and simply flip it to the right. You can see you can move the bars from left to right. So once you get that set up, then we can get into some of the intricacies of these bars. If we go up here to the top, you'll see under positioning, here are your vertical and horizontal positions, your gap, and your scale. So vertical position, that adjusts where this entire heads-up display lives. I have mine set at -184. Horizontal, I have mine set at -30, simply because that seems to be center on my screen. Then gap. Gap is basically the amount of space between the bars. Mine I have set up at 290. I think that's kind of a good space. And then scale is the overall scale of your bars. I don't really touch that. I leave mine at 100%. Transparency settings, I leave my in combat and out of combat all set to 100% for the main bars themselves. The backgrounds, those are what you see here as these kind of faint representations of the bar when there's nothing there. It basically is just an indicator of, like a container, lets you know that that's where the bar is going to be filling up. I leave mine at 70% for in combat or out of combat. Moving on to bar settings, here's where it gets interesting. Basically, you've got these textures that you can go through, and what you're going to want to do is go through these and just kind of play around with them. There's bars, high bars, round bars, all kinds of different designs. I personally use clean curves just because I think it's the cleanest, but there's some pretty wacky looking bars in here, such as Fang Rune, IceHUD. That seems a little bit crazy to me. Clean curves is what I use. Then if you go down to the module settings themselves, here's where you can actually adjust each individual bar by themselves. You can also add or remove bars. Combo points, such as if you're a rogue and you want your combo points to appear. One thing that you'll notice that this add-on includes is runes. Here's where I keep my particular runes for my DK. You can adjust the scale. I keep mine at 150. Your horizontal position, again, I've got mine set at 30 because that seems centered on my screen. And then your vertical position. I keep mine to where when I'm dismounted it's at about the bottom of my feet, which is about -20. You can adjust the rune orientation if you want it to be vertical. I personally like horizontal. Here's how your runes will look when they're on cooldown. I prefer alpha. You can do cooldown. What cooldown does is it gives you a little cooldown number. It doesn't look quite as nice as alpha. Alpha basically just makes the rune almost disappear, so you always can tell exactly when you've used that particular rune. What else here? You can see right now that my target is myself, because I have myself targeted. You've got some player info up here. My health bar is red because I've got my target health bars down here set to class color bar. If I turn that off, then all my targets, regardless of class, would be green health. This just helps me identify a little bit better. Each bar has its own settings, so even though you can adjust the gap and the width and the size, as I went over earlier, you can also adjust the individual scale of each bar. You can invert the bar, your horizontal adjustments of where the bar is placed. So you can kind of just go through each one of these bars and play around with them. Then of course, if you come down here to color, you can get into the individual color of each bar. I think I went in and under player health, I adjusted mine by default. I think it was a little bit of a darker green. That was a little harder to see. I brought it a little bit brighter, a little easier to see. What else? Down here, you'll see my target info. I've got my target info buffs displayed. So at a quick glance, I can see what buffs my target has on, and I can choose to purge those if I want to. I can also turn on any type of debuffs, so if I hit them with any of my diseases, I can see those here as well. I have those off because right now I've been using tidy plates, so I'll go over that later in a different video. One other thing that I wanted to go over, and that was profiles. You can set up profiles, so each one of your characters can have a different setup depending on how you play. And then what else? So, target of target. Oh, one thing that you really want to make sure that you're doing when you're adjusting these is have configuration mode turned on. What this will allow you to do is see all the bars that you have turned on or turned off. So whenever I turn on a bar, such as, let's just turn player health off, you can see my player health bar disappeared. I turn it back on, this is where that player health is going to appear. Now the problem is if you have configuration mode turned off, you can't see all the bars because of the particular situation that they need to be, such as target invulnerability, player invulnerability, your target cast bar, target CC, things of that nature. So if you turn configuration mode on, you can see exactly where that bar is going to appear when it does. So target invulnerability, for example, if you go down here, target vulnerability, you can see here is the target vulnerability bar. I have mine set to -102. What this basically does is shows a countdown bar that slowly decreases in height when, let's say your target casts Ice Block. or Divine Shield. You'll know exactly when it's about to disappear, with also a little countdown timer at the bottom. Let's see. The other thing that I wanted to kind of quickly go over was these little tick marks that you see. Let me turn config off. In my runic power and also my target's health. Those are markers. So if I go to target health, open up, and go to marker settings, I have a marker set up at 35%. I'll go ahead and remove that right now, just to show you how I set it up. So that's set up so that I know exactly when to hit Soul Reaper. What I do is I set my position percentage to 35. I set basically the marker height. I want it to be 2 pixels tall. And then I just create marker. Now what it does is it creates that marker right exactly at 35%, 2 pixels tall. You can create multiple markers all through a bar. I particularly just have one for that setting. Also over here on the left hand side under runic power, I have my player mana marker setting at 20%. The reason I have it at 20% is because my Frost Strike, you need at least 20 runic power, and since there's 100 runic power, 20% would be 20. I know that if I ever see my runic power below that there's no sense in even trying to hit Frost Strike. And that is pretty much it. Hope you enjoyed it, and if you like it, go ahead and thumbs up and subscribe. Thanks a lot.